Well, hello there, Rebels. This is Tony Wilson, your reviews editor at FrontTowardsGamer.com.
This is Curtis Stone. Zabu-san on Twitter, as well as part of Front Towards Gamer.
Yes, you are. We'll call you an associate editor so it looks nice on the video.
Oh, yeah. Associate editor for Front Towards Gamer.
There you go. And our mysterious third host is the cold that I'm slowly catching, so apologies if I sound a little ill. But we're checking out, if I go back here, we're checking out Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time. This is the fourth game in the Sly series. Curtis, I know you're a fan of this series. I am a huge fan of the series, played through all the ones, back. It's been about a decade now, really, since that trilogy. Bought the HD collection, I guess, last year or so. Played through that. Had a good time. So I'm a really big fan of this series. I know you are too. So I think we're just gonna hop into it here.
To do it.
Let's see. We're gonna load up this earlier file that I've created. So a little bit of background here, and Curtis, you feel free to jump in on any of this. A little bit of background here. Thievius Raccoonus is, of course, passed down through Sly's family. It's the journal that chronicles his family and all of their thieving and their special tactics and all that. And pages are slowly disappearing. And so to recover the pages, the gang needs to go back in time to the time periods from which the pages are disappearing to figure out what's wrong. Anything you need to tack onto that, or is that?
I think you kind of summed up the plot perfectly. And
that's a summary.
I mean, you've obviously finished the game, whereas I'm about halfway through now. And I just, it's a very linear story, but it's got that sort of Ratchet and Clank Pixar humor to it that pushes it along, and it's got some really nice production values behind it.
Well, I mean that's what Sly Cooper was about.
Yeah.
Sly Cooper comes from that circle of like Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and Sly are really those are kind of those three big PS2 platformers that, for me at least, define that generation.
No, absolutely, I totally agree. Because I was running through my mind the other day, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Sly Cooper, like how you would rank them. Me personally, I would say Ratchet and Clank, Sly, and then Jak and Daxter. I've never been a fan of Jak and Daxter, but I feel the general consensus is Sly Cooper has always been in third place as far as PS2 platformers in recognition.
Right. So you see here, clue bottles are back. Yay!
Yep. And they are a lot harder to find than I remember.
Well, may I plug my clue bottle guide for Games Radar? Everybody should go check that out. It was a definite pain finding all 150 clue bottles.
Yeah.
Some of them are extremely well hidden.
Yes.
But nice return. That was probably, for me, the biggest thing I missed from Sly 3.
Yeah.
Sly 3, I mean, for me, Sly 3, if you're going to rank the original trilogy, is I can't call it the worst because it's still a great game, but it's definitely not as good as the other two, in my opinion.
It's usually how it goes when there's a trilogy. It's the first one sets the stage, the second one is the penultimate, and then the third one usually it tries, but it just doesn't live up to the expectations. Uncharted,
or it does too much. I think Sly 3 personally just did too much.
Yeah.
Because they added, by the end of the game, you had like 10 people in your
way
squad.
too
Like
many.
it got insane.
Yeah.
And this game fixes that because it does add in your ancestors, but it fixes that by only having them available during their time period. They're not always available.
Yeah. It scales back quite a bit, which is nice because it doesn't arbitrarily or oddly max the game hours. You're able to just sit down and get through a level with no extra nonsense keeping you there. So it's like when you're done with the level, you move on to the next one. You're not spending hours upon hours upon hours just fiddling, unless you're looking for the clues and the treasures and the
right. I was gonna say that being said, I forgot I don't have my I don't have a paraglider in this file. Whoops. Yeah, that being said, there are a lot of stuff, like you just mentioned, the treasures. There's still a lot to find in all of these levels. You've got the clue bottles, of course, are back. You've got the treasures, which you mentioned, and then you've also got the secret slime masks, are the new collectible. And as you unlock those, they give you basically cheats, or cheats or skins or that sort of thing. The first thing you unlock is like the paraglider that I'm sorely missing at the moment. The first thing you unlock is a new skin for the paraglider that actually has Sanzaru Games logo on it. So
Yeah,
it's a nice nod there.
Yeah, they're not game breaking cheats as far as I've seen. They're usually just like you said, they're skins. They're just sort of things that change it up a little bit. And there's one skin that you get for Sly around 20, I believe, 15 or 20 of the masks that sort of turn him into this superhero. And it's just aesthetics. It doesn't actually do anything, but it does in most of the cinematics keep him in that costume, and it's just oddly funny seeing him with a cape running around when you're used to his usual blue outfit. It's just like it's a little jarring.
Old Super Sly.
Yeah.
And speaking of costumes, actually, we're going to acquire one pretty soon here. But yeah, that's another big addition. Not necessarily the skin that we mentioned before, but costumes are another new feature added here. There's one for every time period. I don't think I mentioned yet, by the way, this is the first world of the game. This is where you encounter Ryoichi Cooper, who has been known really since the first game. This is the first time he makes an appearance, really.
Yeah.
But he was mentioned in the first game. He's the creator of the Spire Jump, which is that move right there.
Mm-hmm. He's a master sushi chef as well as a master ninja, so you kind of come to learn that as you go through the game. But he's very much like Sly, just with I mean, they're very go hand in hand with their skills.
And here is the token Nolan North character in the game. El Jefe is voiced by Nolan North. I want to say too, and we'll talk about this probably pretty in a lot of detail here in a moment, but I love the nods that this game does to the original trilogy. When you're actually fighting, I mean, no spoiler, it's pretty, it's not really a spoiler. When you fight this guy at the end of this stage, Sly tells him, he's like, I beat your cousin Rajan too. So, just a really nice nod to, I think that was Sly 2, when you fought Rajan, the Spice Lord.
Yeah, I'm going to trust your knowledge on that because
okay,
my memory is very bad. I have not played these games in a long time. I did buy the Sly collection when it was released, but that was almost maybe 3 years ago now. So I'm not the best with keeping up with certain things, but
but there's certainly there were a lot of nods in there.
Yeah,
to things. And of course, the typical job structure is here. I just did the recon mission, which is pretty much how every stage starts off. Yeah. You go out, take some pictures, assess the situation. Because the game really unfolds in sort of a stream of consciousness for the characters as well. Of course, when you go to a new time period, you don't know what to expect. And neither do Sly and the gang. When they get there, they have to figure out who's the ancestor here, who's the villain here, what can we do to fix this? Yeah.
No, I do like the sort of change up they've made. If you've played the older games, you know that they get to a new land and they don't really do any reconnaissance. They just kind of jump right into it. And they sort of know everything about the area, whereas this one, they take their time to sort of get the lay of the land and get accustomed to that before they jump in and start battling everyone, which it's
kind of comes with time travel, really.
Yeah.
Sly's not inventing rock and roll like Marty McFly or anything here, but there's certainly, there's a lot of things, and oddly enough, no really future repercussions of what they do in the stages, which I think that probably would have been an interesting thing story-wise to throw in there, but that's probably asking a bit much.
Yeah, because while playing, I was like, well, wait a minute, if he's going back in time and he's helping these ancestors, wouldn't that have some sort of impact? I mean, we've all seen Back to the Future and every sort of time travel. Is
Sly gonna make out with his dead mother?
Yeah, is he gonna become his own granddad?
Yeah, we don't know. He's gonna pull a Fry. But existing is all he does. There you go. That's a joke that 8 people will get, and by 8 people I mean the total viewers of this video.
Yeah.
I want to say too, on that whole note of time and everything, because I don't know if I'll get a chance to mention this later, I don't know where the game or where the series can go from here. I mean, once you make the jump through time, where do you, is the next game just going to be different time periods with different ancestors?
Yeah.
I don't know how they go bigger from here. No. Obviously, you can't go to space.
That's one option, but it's like, why would they be going to space?
Right.
But I mean, I wouldn't rule it out as a possibility. I just wouldn't see that in the universe. No pun intended. Like them going outside the universe, in their universe, just doesn't make sense and wouldn't really.
They're gonna journey to Kerwan, meet Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, no, crossover. Why not? They've already done one. Why not have another?
Yeah. Oh look, another clue bottle. I'm not even trying to find these. um, yeah, but I just don't know where they go from here.
Yeah.
I mean, this has some of the best level design in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how they top it, really.
Yeah. Which, I'm very glad that Sly Cooper has returned. But I don't know. Like, is anyone really gonna care that there's a fourth Sly game on the shelf?
I found actually a lot of people. First of all, a lot of people are raising all the same points about this game. It's funny if you read. This isn't really calling anything out because I'm not dissing anything. But if you read my review of this game, and if you read Phil Kohler from Polygon, you read our reviews, we both make the exact same points as it goes through. That it's exactly like the PS2 ones. It's more of the same. But in my case, I thought that was an awesome thing. I gave the game a 9.5.
Yeah.
Phil Kohler gave it a 6. So.
Well, he also gave me
not
a
to just
6. So.
Right. Well, I know that was a personal chord for you.
I mean, no. I mean, the guy's absolutely entitled to his opinion. He made very, very good points to defend it. So kudos to him.
No, it's true. I think it's interesting that we make the same points, but he weighed them very differently than I did. Because you look at the reviews, we literally brought up the exact same things, but completely different scores.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of interesting, just the way. I mean, that just goes to show you that reviews are nothing but, the opinion of one that represents the opinion of a website.
Yep.
Which is why Front Towards Gamer proudly presents this game with a 9.5. I don't know, man. I loved it. I had a blast. There are a couple pacing issues. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a perfect game.
No.
But the perfect game doesn't exist.
No, of course
not. But honestly, for me, I think this is as good as this game could have been. And
yeah. No, I mean, I haven't beaten it yet. I'm about halfway through, as I said, but so far, it does look like it's getting to the point where it's a little bit predictable. Like I was saying earlier, where they go in, they learn the landscape of the land, they do recon. It seems like you're doing that in every world, which isn't bad, and it's not problematic, but I could see that as long as they keep it relatively a short game, that it doesn't get to the point where it's obnoxiously repetitive.
Right.
So that's my main fear going into this, but it's still it's great gameplay. It's really solid.
It won't quite get to that point. I can assure you, it won't quite get to that point.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a valid point there. All right, so we just got our first costume here, which is the samurai armor, and when we use it, we fool the guards, and we also have this nice shield, which aside from being an attack, will actually deflect fireballs, which is something that comes in handy quite a lot throughout the game.
Yeah.
I want to mention too, with the costumes, there's sort of a Metroidvania aspect, where as you get costumes later in the game, you find that they give you abilities that you couldn't do otherwise. So people probably saw as I was running around, there are a couple like quills of arrows sitting on some rooftops. Later on, you get an archer costume, and you can interact with those that way and unlock some things.
Yeah. And I love the small touches to each of the costumes. Like, I mean, like this one, it's this adorable little raccoon. His tail's hanging out and everything, and he's struggling so hard to walk. And it's small touches like that in video games that actually really hit me and just make me enjoy the production so much more.
Yeah, it's great for this costume, but not for the second one you get, because when you wear the second costume, which I don't want to spoil it for you, but when you wear it, you move painfully slow.
Yeah,
it's so bad. It's a handy costume, but the speed is unbearable.
Yeah, and even in this costume, you're still pretty slow, but it makes sense. And the second costume also makes sense, but it's just like, why am I wearing these costumes when they slow down? Slow me down.
Yeah. There are a few I really enjoy. The final one you get is very cool. Again, I won't spoil it, but the final one you get is very good. And the penultimate one is also very, very good. Okay. In general, that's kind of how this game flows. Like, these first two levels, you kind of feel like, yeah, this is Sly Cooper, we're getting into it. The third level is when you start going, okay, there's some cool ideas. And the final two worlds before sort of the epilogue chapter are when they throw in just some fantastic ideas, and the game just goes way uphill. Like, it gets very great.
Excellent. Very much looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna play through this section the way that it's supposed to be played. When I played through my first playthrough, killed every guard instead of sneaking by with the costume.
Guilty. I did the same thing.
Yeah, because I was like, well, you know,
I
why
want the
sit
money,
here and
and I
yeah,
want the
exactly.
treasures.
You want the gold. Mm-hmm.
Where to go with it?
Yeah. No. So this is one of my favorite sections of the game here. Just the kind of kitty torture devices.
Yeah.
The monkey series. The one being tickled and this guy's being slapped in the face and kicked in the butt. Yeah. Not quite Silence of the Lambs in here, but still very entertaining.
Yeah. I would imagine
and
it's
here,
still torturous.
yeah. And here is the one of these secret slime masks. We'll be able to get that one in a moment. So let's see here. And this is when we encounter Ryuichi.
Are you okay? Your gods all seem to make
Who I want to point out too, I love that Sly Cooper is a game that gets us to look at stereotypes and be like, okay, it's okay for this game. Because honestly, some of this stuff is borderline racist.
But the thing with stereotypes that I've learned is stereotypes exist for a reason. You know, they may not be popular and they may come off as a negative, but if I feel like I might be getting offensive, and it's not my intention, but
Well, I will say that in my high school speech class, back when I was in high school, an Asian friend of mine did give 2 of her speeches, one of which was on making sushi, another one was on making shoes. So...
So is that racist?
That's,
no, because she's Asian, but
right.
if you, to make the comment, you only did that because you're Asian, wouldn't that be... I don't know if you want to push the video into this extreme, so we can change the subject, but...
We're getting, Alright, so let's, you know, we won't talk about the minstrel level quite yet. Anyway, so as you saw there a moment ago, got the slime mask. There are 60 of those throughout the game, and yeah, they do give you mostly aesthetic unlockables. But it's just, you know, it's another thing to go back and look for. There's a lot just to search out and find in these levels. There's actually, I don't know if it's in every level, but I know at least in one of the stages you can find the Sanzaru Games logo. Sort of hidden back there, yeah. I just kind of stumbled upon it.
Nice.
And then wondered if it was actually hidden in every world. But I don't know, I haven't tested that theory. Doesn't seem like it's worth testing since it's literally just a design on the wall, but it might be there.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so fortunately the samurai armor is also fireproof. So that gets some use here.
What I do like about the Sly games is they sort of have that old trial and error aspect, but they don't punish you severely if you mess up. Like if you fall off the ledge here, you don't go all the way back to the beginning of the level. They have several checkpoints throughout, and they sort of warp you right back to where you were.
Right, you almost get placed exactly where you were most of the time. If you fall into water, you take a little bit of damage and you pop back up.
Yep.
And eventually, if you eventually you can also get an item that even prevents you from taking damage when you fall in, which is very handy.
Yeah. But is it one of those items that kind of comes a little bit too late into the game, or?
Well, it's one that you unlock for finding clue bottles, so it's one that you may not even get anyway.
Yeah.
That's something I don't even know if we mentioned. Yeah, you find all the clue bottles in the world, and you get some sort of special prize that gives you some sort of ability, and they're always very, very handy.
Yeah. Especially the first one that you will get. Just sort of makes you a money magnet.
Yeah, it also kind of feels like that should have been standard.
Yes, agreed. Because
but
it's like the Metroid games. You know, like when you play through 3 games in a series, and they always have you. So here's a perfect example of you not being punished severely for your mistakes. You know, you don't go back that far into the level. But going back to the power-ups and everything, how when you play one game, you have all these power-ups, and then you play the next one, and all those are stripped away from you, and you're completely bare bones again. And you're just having to sort of start anew. It's like, I could do this in the last game. Why can't I do this right now in the first game? Like, why did he not learn or keep that ability? Like, it just doesn't quite make sense to me. But
the one that you unlock for the clue bottles in the third world is the most useful thing in the game, like period. I won't spoil it, but it is. When you get it, it's kind of like, really? Because it's just the way it is. Alright, we're gonna grab another slime mask here, because I happen to know how to get it. Alright, so that makes 2. Because I didn't grab some of the earlier ones in this playthrough.
That's alright.
I don't even remember why I started this playthrough. I just know that it was easy to pick up for this video.
No, you're just giving a quick taste of what to expect from.
Yeah, and you know, keep it spoiler free. This is all stuff. Well, I mean, this is a mission that probably most people haven't seen, but
Well, no.
this was a stage that was shown off before. You know, we're not showing some of the later worlds, even though those are so cool.
Well, this was the demo that was released on PSN, wasn't it?
It may have been. I did not actually play the demo.
I had not either, but I assume that this is what they would have shown off to entice people. But
I mean, I was one of those douchebags who was playing the game a week before release, so I had no need for the demo. Like, my demo is the full game. Thank you very much. Alright, so we're gonna go and free Ryoichi. And of course, Sly Cooper at its heart is a platformer, and this section here is really where some of that shines.
Perfect example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say, and I don't think that you're going to encounter any of these moments, especially with Sly right now, and I think they're few and far between in the Japanese level, but there are moments where you'll use the actual 6-axis, and I just found those moments really obnoxious and just outdated. Like,
really?
Yeah, I mean,
because I honestly I thought they were infrequent enough that I enjoyed them when they came up. Because as far as I know, I mean, at least as much as I can remember, you use it during the one hacking game, and you kind of use it during that training montage in the one stage, and I can't think of another time when it was really used.
But the problem that I had with it was, when was the last game we had that had any sort of 6-axis, use?
Last one that did it nice was Killzone.
Oh, that was several years ago. But
Right.
I mean, and again, it's not a slight against the game. It doesn't break the game, and it's not to the point that it's like, oh my god, get this out of here. But it's kind of jarring for me to be like, oh,
Really?
why am I doing this when I can just use the control sticks like every other thing?
Well,
I
I mean, for at least for the hacking, I think it has to be done that way, because for it, and we're probably not going to get to it in this video, but the hacking, sort of Bentley's mainstay, is really upgraded in this game.
Yeah.
You have the typical twin stick stuff, but that's been that's not streamlined, but that's gotten an upgrade. So now you have multiple different kinds of actual hacking devices you can use within the twin stick shooter. You have one that's like a side-scrolling shooter, and then the one that uses the 6-axis is sort of reminds me of those old like tilt carnival games where you have to, because it's that thing where you tilt and you try to steer a ball to a goal.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I thought the use of 6-axis was appropriate there.
Again, it wasn't like obnoxious for me or anything. It just was like, I could have done without it. But
Yeah. And I mean, there's no more than like 3 in the game you
Yeah.
have to do that way.
and I guess it's nice to see someone using that technology again. But
yeah.
I guess it's just been so long since anyone's actually really used it well that it's like, oh, I guess I'd kind of forgotten that technology existed too, because it's just been a long time.
Right.
Oh, so we
Okay.
just saved Ryoichi.
We did. So I believe the next mission is actually for him, which is good, so we can show off how the ancestors play differently.
And I do like the small touches like that, of showing you how many bottles, treasures, and everything you've collected.
This save file is pretty pitiful.
Well, it's the start of the game. It's totally understandable.
Right. You should see my other one.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
Just gotta.
higher numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got Ryoichi, so we're gonna show off of the ancestors, and I don't know if you have a favorite of the ancestors. I think mine personally is the one that the stage you just finished. Again, I'm trying not to spoil things for viewers, but the third stage I think has the best ancestor.
We needed to figure out what was going
Well, of the 3 I've had so far, I'm inclined to like Ryoichi just because I'm a big fan of Japanese anything, so I'm definitely
Mostly just
partisan
tentacle
to that.
porn, right?
Over the years, he
That's actually Ryoichi's special ability. He surfs on a
for the highest
group of
bidder.
tentacles. I want to point out too. All right, so in this cutscene, you saw there, a brief shot of the villain of the game. He is not at all what I thought he was going to be from his shadow, shall we say. I don't know if you've gotten to a point where you see what he actually looks like.
Oh, you mean La Paradox? That
Yes. He, from his like silhouette, I did not guess he was what he is.
Yeah, no, I haven't fully seen him yet, so I'm still stuck to shadows, but
Right. Well, I'll tell you. Well, what sort of animal do you think he is from his silhouette?
I'm looking at like a shrimp or something like a prawn, maybe.
Okay, because when I looked at him, I mean, because to me, the shadow looks like a jewel thief with a curly mustache and a turban. Like, that's what the shadow looks like to me. So I thought maybe a salamander or a snake.
Yeah.
But he is not at all what you think he is. But at the same time, once he's revealed, it makes 100% sense. Like, you see him and you're like, okay, this guy should have been the villain for the entire trilogy. Like, he's a perfect rival, basically.
Okay. Well, now I'm intrigued.
You should be intrigued. And he's not a guinea pig or a hamster, unfortunately, either.
Darn it.
All right, so apparently not Ryuichi. You know what? I'm just going to switch control to Ryuichi and we'll mess around with him for a bit. Because I want to show him off, and I don't want this video to go forever. Right. So, let's see, grab Ryuichi here once it loads up.
I will say the load times are a little bit on the long side than I expected.
Especially for something like this when you're just going into the hideout that's literally a glorified menu.
Yeah.
But like with anything in this game that is a detractor, it is infrequent enough that it won't kill you.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't use Ryuichi yet. I have to get his cane back.
Yep.
But yeah, like I think it's infrequent enough that it's not gonna really ruin the game for you. But they are surprisingly long.
Yeah.
Which is not to say they're crazy long. I mean, you're gonna be like, 30, 40 seconds max.
Right.
But in the span of such, during such a fast-paced game where you can get so much done in really a little time, if you kind of know what you're doing, the load times really do feel out of place.
Yeah. And there is no install option, so no way to decrease the install times either.
Right. So. And some of it is understandable given the size of some of these overworlds. This one actually is, I'd say, maybe 3 times the size of what some of the later levels are. Because when you get some of the later ones, they get very, very large. But still, even though they were claimed to be larger than the ones in Sly 3, I believe they're actually slightly smaller. I think specifically I think it was Germany in Sly 3, where it's like the dogfighting club and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I say dogfights, I mean in the air. I don't mean Michael Vick. I mean World War II biplanes and stuff.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, I'm talking like biplanes. Yeah, I remember that level specifically. Or maybe it was Holland. I remember that level as being huge.
Yeah.
Part of that could also have been sort of like, rose-tinted glasses.
Nostalgia coming into play? Surely not.
For this game? No, absolutely not.
But I do
remember
have to say
when Sly didn't have a goatee.
The production values and voice acting, it's all top-notch. It's all really well done. As you saw some of the animated cutscenes and everything like that, just it's something the series has always done well, and they continue to do so even in this game. It's really nice to see that again.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but Sly Cooper sort of walks the line of a game that currently looks really nice in high definition, but still has enough of a unique art style that it will continue to look that way.
No, same with games like Wind Waker and the aforementioned Ni no Kuni. Like, cel-shaded games are the way to go if you want to make a timeless art style, because
right.
Those
a
games
couple
will
years
look
from
good.
now, this game will still look good.
Yes, but if you take a game like Uncharted, Gears of War, they'll still look okay, but they won't hold up as well.
Relatively, they will not look as good anymore. So you know what? You play as Ryuichi during this section anyway, so we get to show him off.
Hurrah! And he learns his ability right off, or he sort of shows off his ability right off the bat. So
yeah, during the nice tutorial inner monologues that all the characters seem to do.
repeatedly.
Okay.
That was another thing that kind of grated on me a little bit.
If I
Just
press the
hit
triangle
L2
button.
it's like, oh my god.
Well, Sly, you need to press the X button to jump into a... What happened there?
Uh-oh.
All right, there we go. I don't know what happened there. Because it's actually plugged in. It's not even wireless right now. But anyway. It's okay. Oh, look at that. Get the cane back right
It
away.
was right there all along.
Yeah. You don't think... or you'd think they wouldn't really need him to get that? But yes, most of the tutorials are always done through inner monologue in this game, which is always interesting. Just Ryuichi just, okay, if I press the triangle button, I can do stealth attack. Like, that's how they all are.
Yeah.
Once again, the ancestor in the third world, my favorite also specifically for dialogue reasons.
Oh no, it made me chuckle more than I guess I'd kind of like to admit, just because I'm a cynical person. But the charm
the
about
fact
this
that
game.
he only sounds like that to us. They talk to him. They just talk to him normally.
Yeah, like they don't blink an eye at it at all. Like to them, it's just we completely understand. To us, it's
Yeah.
like if we didn't have the subtitles, we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Alright, so we get up here. Alright, and we will do Ryuichi's move, which is the Dragon Leap, which allows you to, anytime you're spire jumping, you can leap to a more distant point, which is very, very handy. Actually, there's another mask we can grab here. Whoop. If we make the jump, which, considering they're like automatic landings if you press circle, is really sad on my part.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to go.
There we are.
3 of 60.
All right,
You are
only
on your way.
57 to go. Yeah, it's not a short game by any means.
No.
Honestly, you can probably blaze through this in a couple of hours if you've been through like once before and you're not really concerned with like collectibles or anything. But if you plan on really getting the full experience, you're gonna spend probably about 20 hours with the game.
Yeah, that's. But I mean, especially for $40, you're not gonna find another game like this for that price.
Oh, that's right.
So-
It did launch at $20 cheaper.
Which I think really was a smart thing to do. If only they had some marketing behind it, you know.
Yeah. I feel like this game, kind of, if I can make a pun, kind of slipped in undetected.
Yeah. Stealthily hit shelves.
Yes. It's slyly cooped its thievery across release time.
It will pick your pockets
Yes,
to get it
will.
on. I'm done. I'm out.
Ryuichi is Cooloichi.
Now you're reaching.
Now you're Ryuichi.
God. Oh. And that's where we end this, because I'm done. No.
But no, yeah, I feel like this game did kind of slip under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
Which disappoints me, because it's one of my favorite series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not to just, you know, sit here and talk like all on a personal level the whole time, but this game really does hold that sort of place in my heart, because it came out at you know, one of those time periods. It was just one of those games that was just so good.
It was the right game at the right time, you know.
Yes,
When it.
and I totally mean it came out during my shoplifting period.
Uh-oh.
Which is not a joke.
Oh gosh.
It's cool, man. I did my time. We're all fixed now.
All right. No judgment. We've all done things as younger.
No, but no lie, this did come out during the brief shoplifting period of my life. Look, man, Yu-Gi-Oh! Starter decks were overpriced. Is all
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying.
you gotta have that. Pogs were mine.
Yeah,
so
man.
If I have
Well,
to
listen-
date myself, so
It's not dating too back farther than me though.
yeah. But the thing is, at least yours is still relevant. Pogs
is
are not
it,
a thing anymore.
Is it really?
I think so.
I guess. I want to on that note, kids, the best way to steal cards from a store. Front Towards Gamer does not induce theft, or does not what's the word I'm looking for? Endorse theft.
Unless
However,
it's in the Sly Cooper universe.
Oh yes, absolutely. Steal your heart out, Sly Cooper. We do not endorse theft, but regardless, this is a tactic that will always work. You go into a store, you sort of press up against the the shelf of cards like you do, and then you slip it into the crotch of your pants, a la a sports cup. It becomes virtually invisible in there.
Yeah.
And
And
if
no
anybody
one's gonna
sees any
grab
sort
your
of
junk.
bulge, they're gonna think, "Whoa, I'm jealous of that dude's massive,"
Yeah.
Or they're going to think, "Whoops, I was supposed to pickpocket that guy." That's not what they're going to think. Or they're going to think, "This kid just came from like baseball practice."
Yeah.
So there you go.
Again, we don't endorse any of that. Just saying.
No, we don't endorse that unless you're stealing sushi knives, a la Ryuichi right here.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
my
the
gosh.
icing on the cake here would be if he just then stabbed the guard with that knife.
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't? You gotta test it out, make sure it's still durable. You might as well.
Yeah.
It's a perfect target.
That'd be a very McLean thing to do. Okay. So I do not remember. Oh, that's right. We just activate the. I couldn't remember how this mission ended. I want to say also, I don't know how to word this, but a lot of times in the game you'll have a moment like this where you'll go through a door, have a brief little cutscene, and then literally the only thing to do in this room is pull a switch.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's like, why not bother to? There's also this, if you know that it's there. It's like, why even have that special little animation? Why not just have a switch?
Yeah.
But whatever. That's not really a valid complaint. It's just an observation.
No, I mean it's there's other games that I'm blanking on at the moment, but have had that where same exact scenario. You're in a room and all you have to do is push a button.
Metal Gear.
Yeah. Probably the
45
perfect
minutes for
example.
for Snake to walk forward.
That's one of the, just not to get too sidetracked, but in Metal Gear Solid 4, spoilers for a 4 or 5-year-old game, but in the final moments of that game where you're
it's
forced
like
to go
Older
through
than that now, even.
all the microwaves and they're burning the shit out of you, and then the little robot can go in and do exactly what you needed to do. Why wouldn't the robot just do that? Like,
Because
it just logic fails sometimes.
Snake don't care.
Snake's
Snake's already got, like, what's he have, like 17 forms of cancer in that game? I don't think he's concerned about going through a microwave.
Maybe he thought the microwaves would burn the cancer out.
Maybe. He's okay with being a human Hot Pocket for a little bit.
I guess. For his country. Salute, sir.
Okay, I just accidentally hit the map key, but that brings up the fact that we didn't even talk about the map. I don't recall if in the earlier games you had any sort of map.
Well, I know at least from, I think Sly Cooper is the first is the one that I really remember most because I've played that one more.
But even that wasn't so much of a map as it was like a level select.
Yeah, and the worlds were pretty linear. You didn't really need that much.
The first
of a
one
map.
was a straight up like A to B type platformer.
Yeah.
Which is why when Sly 2 came out, it just blew the doors off of what Sly could be.
Yeah.
and
Really
then-
opened the worlds up.
And then 3 was a little too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So you get this nice overhead map here. It even shows you the guards. It won't show you their route or anything, but it will. It does have them all displayed there. And then of course you have a mini map too, which is very, very handy. I think here is where we'll be able to show off the new hacking, and then we'll probably call it there.
Yeah. No, you get a full taste of sort of what all the characters can offer.
Yep, Murray can walk from point A to point B.
Yep. Or run.
Yes, or run as they're
And
doing.
he actually does get some pretty decent character development later on in the game.
Yes, as does Bentley.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do for him. But I thought Murray's story was actually it was nice because I wasn't expecting it at all. They really try to bring some life to the characters.
Yeah, when you reach the Bentley stuff, it's kind of you will see the twist coming. As someone who's played the early games, you'll know what's coming.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's a good moment for him.
Is this, and this isn't too spoiler heavy, but is it regarding the Penelope?
Yes.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it's not something I brought up in the review, but that whole arc is literally exactly what happened in Sly 3 with her, except sort of in a different light. But it's literally the exact same twist, which is why I knew, like, as soon as, and it's actually you're gonna get there pretty soon in your playthrough, but you'll probably figure it out as soon as it happens.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the new hacking. which is either the 6-axis one or the side scroller.
I think this is the side scroller.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, here we are. So this, honestly, of the 3 hacking types, is my favorite.
Yes, agreed.
Because you fly around, and again, it's a twin stick shooter, but it is side scroller.
Yeah.
And there are these little, they're called something bits, like data bits or something.
Yeah, it's at first it's a little hard to hear because there's just so much. There's the gunfire, there's the voice talking in the background, there's Bentley talking. There's just it's a cacophony of noise. So it's a little hard to get a grasp at first. But essentially,
is there any other kind of cacophony?
No, probably not.
I guess unless you're talking about the Blink-182 song.
Oh my god,
that was a real Ryoichi. But anyway, so as you can get this bomb that I just collected, and that's sort of an area of effect there. But as you pick up these bits, you notice that meter in the bottom is filling up. You can rank up. The highest you can go is rank 10. But as you rank up, your speed increases. The weapons you actually fire increases. And if you get hit, as you just saw I did, you automatically go down a whole level, which, as overpowered as you get in the end, I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah.
Because you'll notice here, if we hit one of those levels, and it's difficult to be as precise when I'm trying to talk about it, but if we hit one of those levels,
if you get to level 10,
very,
you're pretty much unstoppable. But they space out the bits enough that you're not that powerful for that long. You usually would get it as long as you can keep your chain going.
Yeah, as long as you don't take damage.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine. But
and of course, it's nowhere close to like an Ikaruga shoot 'em up, so you don't have to worry too much about a lot of stuff on screen.
Still brings that kind of stuff to mind, though.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't doing so poorly, or otherwise we could show that off a bit better. But I think once you reach 4, you get sort of a spread gun.
Some missiles come into play about 4 or 5.
Yeah, they're like some auto missiles.
Health power ups, kind of the essentials for a shoot 'em up.
Okay. So now we're at. Okay, so now we're level 4 and we have missiles, which kind of fire of their own accord. And my only criticism with this hacking game is that it is played out the exact same way every time.
That actually was I was going to ask you that. It seems very simplistic so far.
Yeah, I mean the level design changes up, but you do the exact same thing of reach the end and they kill this eyeball thing. All right.
There's. I'm gonna spoil it just because it's the very start of the game when you first get control of Bentley. But there's a moment where he goes into the sewers, and he cracks this line that I don't know if anyone else is gonna get it.
Did you think about that because of the way he looks in that shooting game?
Exactly.
He says I know exactly what you're talking about.
He drops into the sewers. He says, "I haven't been in here since I was a teenager," and I could not help but smile
for everybody, by the way.
When he said that, because I thought that's such a great reference and just such an easy joke, but it was so well done that it's like, okay, I'll allow this.
Yeah, and that's the only moment like that in the game where they kind of pull a pop culture nod like that.
Yeah,
I really can't recall another one that they do later.
No, so far I haven't seen any other ones, but it's really great script writing. Not necessarily like a referential standpoint, but just the characters are really well written and really well acted. Throughout the entire game so far.
Yes, and fun fact, the voice actors for Sly, Bentley, and Murray do a show called The Second Funniest Podcast, or Second Best Podcast, or something.
Really?
I didn't know that, but yeah, I would totally recommend that. And it's the 3 voice actors between, of the 3 main characters of this game.
No, they were the ones that, if I remember years ago, actually said that this game was happening. Were they the ones that revealed that initially?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
But yeah, they have one of the clips you'll find on YouTube is of the Sly Gang robbing a KFC. Like it's pretty great.
That sounds excellent.
Anyway, yeah. So before we get too deep in showing off everything this world has to offer, I think we'll probably call it here. Just do some thunder flops for fun. But yeah, that is Sly Cooper. Thieves in Time. I always want to call it Sly 4 Thieves in Time, but You know, and
If the shoe
Marie,
fits.
I don't know where that piece of pizza came from, by the way. I have no idea where he pulled that from.
What bothers me is he has another one where he pulls out a piece of broccoli. If you don't like
Yes.
broccoli, why do you have it on your person? Like,
Yes.
doesn't quite make sense. There it
Okay,
is.
yep,
There it is.
there it is. And I think we know exactly where that piece came from.
No thanks.
Yeah, there's a reason. I love how no characters wear pants in this game. No, nobody wears pants. Everybody's got a shirt. Nobody's got pants. But anyway, that is Sly Cooper Thief in Time. You can check out the review on Front Towards Gamer. We gave it a 9.5. You can check out the actually several guides I'm writing for it over at Games Radar. Curtis, anything you need to plug?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining me for this.
No, thank you.
Yep, that is Sly Cooper. And
Glad I could spread
guys,
the word.
Yep, and keep it locked at Front Towards Gamer, and we'll catch you rebels there.
All right. See you guys.